everybody, welcome back to That Fiction Life. So today we will be talking about the Vampire Diaries. I thought it was a perfect time to finally do my next episode of the Let's Talk About series where I pick a fandom. We have a great fun discussion all about that show. So far we've done this on Twilight, Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Harry Potter. So if you're in any of those fandoms as well, I will link those videos down below. I first asked for these questions months ago, and I should probably also say that this video will have spoilers, so please do not watch this video if you haven't watched the whole show. So with these types of videos, I always have something to unbox or talk about to do with the show and what it means to me. And for the Vampire Diaries, I'm going to talk about the cast because over the last 2 years, I've had the chance to meet 4 of the cast members, and for me personally this show means so much because I watched it at a kind of hard time in my life, so I think there's just a really sentimental feeling that I have towards this show. But I never ever thought that I would meet anyone from that cast because it just seemed too impossible to happen. And then it all began when Michael Malarkey, who plays Enzo, came to do a tour in London, and if you didn't know, he is a musician and he's absolutely incredible. His songs sound so cinematic. That was the best concert of my whole life. This is me meeting Michael Malarkey. It was the best. His live singing voice is even better than the record, if that is even possible. He's going on another tour next year. I can't wait to see him live again. Then you all know I go to Comic-Con every year, and last year for London Film and Comic Con, Paul Wesley and Daniel Gillies were announced. And Paul Wesley, of course, is Stefan Salvatore, and Daniel Gillies is Elijah Michelson. Meeting them even further confirmed how incredible actors they are. I had an amazing interaction with Daniel. We did a dipped photo. This is our picture. I also got his autograph at the table where he kissed my hand. No big deal. And same with Paul Wesley. He was so kind, and he was willing to do a pose with everyone, so we did a hugging picture. This was us. I absolutely adored that interaction. And then fast forward to this year, again at London Film and Comic Con, Ian Somerhalder was one of the guests, and Damon is one of my favourite characters in the whole world from literature and TV shows, and Ian also is an incredible human being. Of course, I had to get a photo with him as well, and this was our picture. We had a whole entire conversation in the photo, which is kind of frowned upon because they try to get through these pictures very quickly, but we had an amazing conversation. I will link my vlog from both this year's Comic-Con and last year's where I talk about my interactions with everyone in a little bit more detail. So those are my experiences meeting the cast. I hope to meet more in the future because they are truly some of the best people I've ever met in my whole life. So without further ado, I'm going to begin the Q&A. The first question is the books or the show? And if you are not aware, this show is based on L.J. Smith's series. She is an incredible paranormal author. I mean, I have all of her books, and she's had 2 TV shows based on her books. So we have The Vampire Diaries and The Secret Circle. However, the books are not my favourite. I much prefer her other books, especially the Night World series. So the show definitely wins for that question. I think they adapted it very well from the core material, which is a rare thing, let me tell you. Question 2, fave kiss. Do you know the motel? And then the Florence and the Machine song comes in, Never Let Go, and Damon and Elena have their first real kiss. The whole Delena fandom actually just died, and can't handle it. It was too much. Okay, for the lols, can you demonstrate the Stefan brood? Oh, I love Stefan so much. It sort of goes like this, right? This like, I'm an immortal vampire. Favourite quote? One of the funniest parts, I'll throw you over my shoulder and carry you out myself. That was one of the most iconic scenes. I mean, also Damon, I'm mad at you because I love you. I think any of Damon's one-liners are probably my favourite quotes because the way he just has the perfect thing to say in every situation. There's a few questions asking about Stefan or Damon. So we're going to do question 1, which is, are you team Damon or Stefan? And then there's also a few asking who I prefer for Elena. And here's the answer. For Elena, Damon hands down. Elena needed Damon to kind of let her out of her shell. However, for myself, I've always said that I would prefer Stefan for me. I mean, I adore Damon. I love how snarky he is. I love the sarcasm. especially the way he talks. He is closest to me. I am too sarcastic for my own good. However, it's the whole thing with opposites attract. Me and Damon would clash so much and we would probably get in fights every single minute. Whereas Stefan, I feel as though we are more compatible, but Elena is more compatible with Damon. Favourite and least favourite villain. The favourite villain, of course, is Klaus. He was the most complicated character on this whole show. When we're introduced to him in season 2, you kind of think this dude is absolutely insane. What the hell? We're not going to end up loving him. We all fell so hard for the Michaelsons, and I'm not just talking about Klaus here, really. You know, Rebecca, iconic. Elijah, absolute favourite. They were the best villains that kind of turned out to not be villains. Catherine was also great, but then again, was she a villain or was she just the antagonist that we just loved to hate? And least favourite villain, people like the Sirens was not my favourite. Which character would you most want as a friend ally if you're in that world? Damon, but also Caroline, because Caroline I did a real 180 on at the beginning, season 1. It was like, please. But Caroline season 2 onwards was my favourite female character, I think, on the whole show. I think she would be a great friend and ally, but also I think Damon would be useful just because he doesn't really have morals, and I think that would be very beneficial to me in that world. Favourite character. Okay, favourite characters. Let's change that because that question's not allowed. I think Stefan and Damon are probably my favourite characters. I mean, Paul really managed to change his whole demeanour and he gave Stefan this vulnerability, but he was also bat-crap crazy because when we saw Ripper Stefan, probably best character moments when Stefan was in his Ripper mode. And same with Damon when he had this kind of carefree, I don't care who dies. His character development was absolutely insane to me. He was written very, very well. Watching their dynamic kind of change throughout the seasons was the best. Can we do a hate character question? Actually, because that's probably easier. I hate Matt. I cannot with Matt. The only human on this whole bloody show. And he survived 8 seasons. And did you read the books? So yes, I did read the books, but not all of them because as I said, I definitely felt the show captured the feeling of Mystic Falls better than the books. Ships. Okay, Caroline. But I also did really like Stefan and Caroline. Of course, Delena. No judgment if you like Delena because like I said, I love Stefan, but Delena, it made my whole life. Favourite original. I think I'm gonna have to say Elijah. I really liked what his character was all about because yes, he was kind of evil a little bit, but I love how he took the deals he made very seriously. He was very honourable. Favourite mythical being? Vampire, of course, hands down. Which character would you want to be stuck in the 1994 prison world with and why? You know, I think I'm going to have to pick Enzo for this one just because I think he would be so much fun to hang out with in a prison, right? We could sing together. Favourite song from the soundtrack? Let's say Scars by Michael Malarkey. That song does something to your feelings. Okay, then Hold On by Court Overstreet. That is Cut by Plum. Broke my soul and I listen to that all the time. Only One by Alex Band was beautiful. A Drop in the Ocean. Do you know what? Just listen to the Vampire Diaries soundtracks playlist on YouTube. Who do you ship more, Delena or Stelena? So yes, I definitely ship Delena more. Although, a controversial opinion that I guess I have about Delena is I was so excited for them to finally get together, but when they did, it was done in such messy circumstances that instead of just the fandom getting to be happy about their ship becoming real, they were having so many issues and the whole show became more of a romance drama rather than the really historical aspects that it was exploring at the beginning of the series. Were you sad when Stefan died? It was so traumatic to me because, first of all, I was so mad at Stefan for killing Enzo and I kind of cut Stefan out of my favourites list because I was so mad at him and I thought, how is he going to redeem himself? So when he sacrifices himself, that was something I never saw coming. I just never thought that Stefan would be the one to die. I always thought that something might happen to Damon throughout the series. And that scene that Stefan had with Elena when he told her things one last time, I mean, they were really trying to kill me with that scene. If you could have been a part of any season from the show, which would you pick? I really adored season 2 because that was when we were sort of getting to know the characters a little bit more. People were starting to like Damon, Klaus joined the storyline. What did you honestly think about the finale? What could they have done better? So I definitely think the finale was hella rushed. While I did really love that final segment because it made me bawl like liters and liters of tears. I think I broke my tear ducts. I think I've just been emotionally dead ever since then. But I definitely think we could have spent more time with each of the characters and just have more of a farewell to the show, because the season itself was shortened. It was 16 episodes compared to the usual 22 to 24 episode seasons. So I think the ending just felt really cut off for me. Do you like the storyline? So we talked about this a little bit. I love the storylines towards the beginning and then towards the end, but seasons 5 and 6 felt very different to me. And I know there were writer changes, which meant that we were going to get a little bit of a different vibe, but I don't think it was the right vibe. It didn't feel as deep and historical as what the show started off as. We were discovering things about Mystic Falls rather than just fixating on relationship problems like we did in sort of seasons 4 to 6. I didn't like the whole Belle thing with Matt. I mean, they were trying to just make him relevant and not about that life. But I love season 7 because we really learnt about Stefan and Damon's relationship more. And the final question is thoughts on Bonnie, and do you think she got a good ending? If not, what do you wish it had been? Oh, Bonnie is a hard person for me to talk about because at the beginning of the series, I did not like Bonnie. I know she helped them out a whole lot with her being a witch. She did so many spells for them, but I feel like she was a plot device at the beginning. And that's the reason I didn't like her, because she always kind of showed up when there was a spell that needed doing. I don't think we got to know her personally until she got with Enzo. And she kind of became one of my favourites in that whole season because we were losing Elena and I was kind of thinking, oh my gosh, Caroline's going to be the only girl I now like. Because I did have issues with Elena at the beginning, don't get me wrong. She was... yeah, that was a choice. But I didn't hate her. I had nothing against her. I think Nina's acting was absolutely incredible as Elena, especially with her emotional trauma that she had. But Bonnie was just someone I didn't care for. And I think her spending so much time in that cabin with Enzo, we got to know her more. And her ending makes me so crazy. Just as I start to love someone, they get such a crap ending that... Finally, Bonnie has someone that she can rely on, who loves her for who she is, doesn't really need her to be a witch. For Enzo to be taken away from her so close to the end of the series was kind of traumatic to watch. And just her going off somewhere on some big adventure, I don't think was right. Those are all the questions I'm going to talk about. If you have anything else that you want to discuss about the show, do comment down below. I do have a whole video talking about season 7 in detail, which is one of my favourite seasons. So if you would like to hear more of my thoughts in detail, I will link that video down below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!